Having completed the career mode in the first week of owning the game, I thought that I'd document the experience to give others some tips and hints of doing the same. First and foremost, you need to be very familiar with the actual rules and regulations of the Blank Pane series. The career mode is quite an investment in time, and being ignorant of the rules and regulations will easily frustrate you and limit your success. I would pause the video long enough to take notice of the ones that I've posted here, and take special note of the black triangle indicator. Note that the maximum stint length of 65 minutes only applies to full-length races. Aside from the AI, the game itself will conspire to defeat you. I hope to demonstrate some of these shortcomings in this video. For example, a pit lane speeding penalty in a sprint race is a drive-through penalty. This same infraction in an endurance race is an automatic disqualification. I learned that after 2.5 hours into a 3-hour endurance race. When a race finishes, be sure to let the countdown clock completely expire. Leaving the event after a win, for example, before all the other cars have completed their race will reset the event back to the beginning. I'm going to document this experience capturing video on a Hauppauge HD PVR-2 showing the second to last endurance race in the second and last season of the career mode. This is a replication of the 24 hours of Spa race, compressed over an actual 8-hour time span. I will also utilize and demonstrate the very effective replay modes in the editing of this video. Note the green LED light on the screen capture device on the lower screen. The race starts out with my red and black number 17 Porsche 911 on the pole, but the Audi R8 seems to jump the start and lead the way up through their rouge. Because the Blank Pane series is promoted largely as having an endurance series component, the biggest drawback and shortcoming of this game lies in the fact that it only offers 15 opponents in an endurance race. This in many ways removes most semblance of realism. The Audi R8 and myself gradually pull away from the rest of the field by a bit on the first lap. I begin to make up some ground on the R8 on the second lap by setting the fastest lap of the early race.
Fastest lap of the race. Great job, lad.
Notice that the display at the top center provides the countdown from 8 hours as well as the actual real race time starting at 5 p.m. On lap 4, I make a clean pass on the Audi on the run up to Blanchiment.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
When you start a career, the game asks you to create a co-driver. This is necessary as each driver has to take part, and switching drivers when necessary is a requirement. I now find myself in second as I leave the pits on the 10th lap. Notice in the upper left there is a time indicator for each driver's stint. The game sets this at 25 minutes for this event over this 8-hour span. I set out in pursuit of the leading Audi R8 and actually take the lead on the pit stop exchange. Both the Audi and myself pit on the same lap as he follows me down pit road. I have to slow due to the cumbersome D-pad rocker switches on my wheel as I try to reset the menu items required. The menu oftentimes does not respond to my input. This menu can only be accessed when the car is in motion, either coming into the pits or leaving the pits, setting it for the next stop in advance. I once again lose the lead on this exchange. I have switched the car to my co-driver for the first stint, and that's why the lap counter now displays 1.
Car on the right.
I make a pass on the Audi, entering the first left-hand turn entering Pouhon. "48 minutes on the virtual clock, or 2 hours and 27 minutes on the real-world clock, I find myself leaving the pits in first place. only to be passed once again by the Audi R8 as I enter the track. It turns out that much of the race is this two-car battle, often punctuated with contact and aggressive driving.
Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left.
The first encounter involves an opportunistic move on my part, exiting Pouhon. As you encounter slower cars, they usually respond to the blue flags as they are required. I once again catch the R8, and our dicing begins once again. This time I managed to get by him going into the old bus stop chicane. Stretching out a bit of a lead, I managed to lose the back end, entering Fagnes, and spin with overcorrection. Easy to do in the 911. In the first replay, I noticed the turn marshal put out the yellow flag just before I spun the car. How did he know? I get to sit there and watch the R8 cruise by with a big smile on his face. As night falls, I catch the Audi once again, and he gets slowed a bit by lap traffic. I get another opportunity to retake the lead. But once again, the Porsche takes its lumps. I finally catch the Audi once again and actually retake the lead going into La Source. Then later, with worn tires, the Porsche pushes wide while passing a lap car at the exit of Pujon and eclipsed the right rear corner just enough to propel me into the inside wall. Glad I had turned damage off. The night was filled with lots of blue flagged lap cars pulling over, but very little racing.
Class leader is in the pits.
Coming out of Blanchiment late at night, I lose focus for a moment and put a wheel on the grass, resulting in more chaos for me. Somehow at first light, at 6:17 in the morning, I find myself still in first place. Since we are well past the halfway point, I choose this stop to replace my brakes, adding about 45 seconds additional to the stop. Not sure I needed to do this, but I did it as a cautionary measure. This plainly cost me the lead here. I start passing more lap cars as I enjoy the early morning sunlight.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
With almost 6 of the 8 hours depleted, I find myself still in second. Notice the leaderboard at the lower left corner. It clearly displays the gaps between the cars and most often fails to display the gaps to the cars in front of and behind you, the only ones I actually care about. After losing concentration going through Eau Rouge and stuffing it hard into the barrier, I resign myself to the fact that I doubt I'll ever catch the Audi again. The lap cars are really good about pulling to the side, but they seldom actually just give you the corner. They won't race you, but they'll make life difficult nonetheless. I had preset 20 pit stops with tire changes and pressures and started the sequence with stop number 1. Each pit stop, the game cycles through your settings in sequence and fits the car as predetermined. This saves a lot of fiddling with the pit stop menus coming down pit road. I wondered why, only 8 minutes into my stint, the tires didn't seem to have much grip. I discovered on my next pit stop that the game had begun to install used sets of tires instead of the sets I had assigned. Once again, a blue flagged lap car politely pulls over to let me pass, but then accelerates into me at La Source. This clip was inserted to illustrate the fact that vast amounts of time you are simply driving hot laps for a complete stint without even seeing another car on track. This is a result of only having 15 opponents in an endurance race, especially when only 2 or 3 are on the same lap as you. This video illustrates absolutely everything that happened to me during the 8 hours I spent on track. The video was roughly 25 minutes. The rest of the time was spent being somewhat bored. With less than an hour left to race, I was suddenly pitched out of control and poo-home by a large bump in the middle of the track that just appeared out of nowhere. I had been through this corner over 150 times since the race began and not once felt anything whatsoever. Suddenly, this bump pitches the car out of control, and once again I get to flat spot a set of tires. With less than half an hour to go, I have to wonder why suddenly the game limits my stint to 17 minutes 10 seconds and then lowers it to 10 minutes 45 seconds as I leave the pit box. So I pit with 19 minutes remaining, figuring that a 25-minute stint will get me to the checkered flag. I do not change tires nor take fuel, so the stop is quick, and I notice that with 18 minutes left in the race, the game has now assigned a 17-minute stint. What the hell, man? Then, to add salt to the wound, the yellow 911 passes me as I head down pit exit, relegating me back to third now. I figure with 18 minutes left, I should be able to run him down and take second back, which I do. With just under 3 minutes to go, running second, I'm told that my stint is up and I must box now.
Let's go.
With 1.5 minutes left, as I leave pit lane, I'm told immediately to box again, as I'm passed once again by the yellow 911. This game is either flawed somehow, or there's some rule/regulation I couldn't find online to explain this weird encounter. I almost catch the yellow 911 entering the bus stop, but I have to settle for third.
Excellent job, mate. B3, you're on the podium. Now bring it back home safely.
I can't say it wasn't fun, but I have to admit it was also boring and frustrating.